Good morning. It is Wednesday. It is the 19th of February, and our reading is from John 3:19. Now, this is the basis for judging. The light has come into the world, and people loved the darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. One of the problems that believers have often is understanding why unbelievers reject the gospel. It's when maybe they even understand the consequences of doing so, they still reject it. Now, because we're believers and have accepted Christ's payment for our sin, then we don't understand and can't really understand how people would reject it. But here in John, we see one of the obvious answers. It's because people want to reject it. The mantra I always use with my class is people believe what they believe because they want to believe it. They're not going to be convinced by the truth because they would rather believe the lie. Darkness hides evil, and so they prefer being in the dark because then they can live the way they want. And we see even in Revelation, where the world knows that God is bringing judgment, when they can see him, when his witnesses and even his angels go and give the gospel to the entire world. Yes, untold numbers are saved, but others shake their fist at God, and their message is, how dare you interfere with life the way we want it? There'll be nobody in hell because they didn't hear the truth, and if they had, they would have accepted it. People are there because they don't want heaven on God's terms. Milton, speaking of Satan, said he'd rather serve in hell than rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. Now, of course, theologically and biblically, he's never going to rule there, but the underlying philosophical statement is true. The lost would rather be lost than saved on God's terms. But the Holy Spirit moves in their hearts and gives them the opportunity to be saved. Our responsibility is just to reflect God's light into the darkness, and what happens with it is between him and them, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So just be open to letting this little light of mine, but let it shine all the time. And that's when God will say to you, well done. So have a light-filled day and reflect that light to others. And I'll see you again tomorrow.